Welcome into the Daily Wolves podcast. I'm your host, Evan. We're here with a guest today, Mr. Craig Kilborn. People know him in the community in Minnesota. Craig, you've been around basketball for a long time. You grew up playing it, I know. Kind of how did you get into everything with how basketball, your career, everything
Yep.
like that? And then we'll kind of tie that in, Craig.
Born in Kansas City, moved to New Jersey when I was 4 or 5. My dad took a transfer to Minnesota. He worked in St. Paul. He picked a little town called Hastings, nestled on the Mississippi. He wanted us, my brother and I, to play baseball. We didn't take to it. I played hockey briefly. I fell in love with basketball. He put a hoop up in our driveway. He showed me how to shoot a layup. I just picked up the rest. I started playing in second grade. And organized ball was in 5th and 6th grade at Tilden Elementary School. And the coach, John Teglin, saw me in 2nd grade, 3rd grade, watching my brother, who was in 5th grade, dribbling on the sideline. Why are you dribbling? Are you left-handed? You're dribbling with your left hand. I said, no, I'm dribbling. I'm right-handed. I can already dribble with my right hand. I'm just working on my left. So I fell in love. I fell in love with basketball. And my dad was from New York, so the Knicks were my team for a while. Walt Clyde Frazier was my first favorite player. And you guys are actually what we call young people. Do you know who Dr. J is? Because he was my favorite. Once I discovered him, do you remember? You see highlights of him, and what do you think of Dr. J?
Andrew, go for it.
Dr. J.
Yeah.
Oh, you're throwing it to me. Dr. J, I mean, he was just smooth. He had everything. He could score inside. He could score in the mid-range. He was just an icon. I mean, dunks aside, just watching highlights. Obviously, I wasn't old enough to. Well, Dr. J wasn't really featured on TV very much, but watching highlights, he's just kind of the first real flashy player the NBA had.
He had really big hands. He was 6'6". And he moved differently than everybody else. He had long legs. Like Jordan's kind of built perfectly, but Doc would run out and stride, and he'd pick up the ball with one hand like a grapefruit and wave it around and finger roll or dunk. And I was a big fan of Dr. J. And then of course I played in high school at Hastings, averaged 26 a game. I played at Montana State on a scholarship. I played both small forward, 2 guard, and I had my best games at point guard, 6'5" point guard. And I joked that I led the Big Sky in turnovers, and the defensive stance hurt my lower back. So I was an I was a shooter and a passer. But the Wolves came into existence in '89, and I was already a huge NBA fan for 20 years before the Wolves came into existence. And I'm just so happy we have a team, and now we're good.
Crazy,
Long time coming.
Yeah.
Speaking of good, the other night, or I guess the last couple games here, boys, Timberwolves, they've won, and not just they won some crazy games, right? We have the Pistons game, which we'll talk about in a second. They get into the fight. They come back. The fight sparks the team, right? And they come back and they win. You think maybe it can't get any better than this. And then guess what? They go to Denver less than 48 hours later, and there's a thriller and a double OT thriller. I guess, Craig, you were watching the game. What do you think of the Pistons game and the fight? You think it was good for the team? You think they needed it? Is it something that can help them going forward?
Yeah, I think everyone, the teammates of Dante DiVincenzo and the fans, we appreciate him because he's tough. And they talk about a fight. There were no punches thrown. Everyone's kind of disciplined, but there's grabbing and pushing and shoving and falling down into the front row. But, Detroit plays a certain way. They were yapping, and Dante came in right away and just sparked the team even before, Isaiah Stewart pushed him and got a technical. And as coach said, it was bound to happen, to boil over. But I'm glad we have Dante on our team, and I know that his teammates really appreciated it. And I was just happy that we lost both Nas and Dante. I was just happy we responded and played so well and won, you know?
Mm-hmm. How do they
I mean,
only? I mean, the suspensions too. Only one game. I mean, I can't even believe that, Andrew. We were talking about multiple games, but you obviously you're going to get Dante and Nas tonight. And how big is it to have those guys back, Andrew, for the remainder of the year?
tonight, let's be honest, the Nets are in full Cooper Flag mode. So even if somebody's popping off in the first half, they're going to be benched for the second. So I don't think it helps them a ton tonight. My hope would be they don't have to play a lot tonight. Like, this should be a night where Dillingham gets 15 because the game's just done. But the Wolves have this tendency to make things hard for themselves. It's been something that, the last week they were in town, they talked about it at length. Every person that came out at practice, from Randall to Nas to Mike, just that they don't know why they can't wake up for these games. Mike made a joke earlier about, like, all I'd have to do is read like some columns online and I'll find motivation. But they just don't have, for whatever reason, they just don't have that, whether it's 23-year-old superstar leading the team, whether it's just the makeup of, Cat, for all of his flaws, he was a guy that put in the work and kind of gave you the same thing every game. Craig, I wanted to ask you just one more thing on the Detroit side of it, though, how many years did we watch this team where they would get punched around like that and they just kind of folded?
Yeah.
Golden State for a long time would come in and be physical and the team would just collapse on itself. And that's before Jimmy Butler and after Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, they say you need an enforcer type. Draymond Green on the Warriors. We had Pat Beverly. I was not a Pat Beverly fan. I don't think we have guys like Jaden is tough. Jaden McDaniels is a really good defensive player, but he doesn't back down from anyone and sometimes loses his cool. But I just think Randall and Dante, they add a little toughness to the team. So I agree with you. We now have something there. And I'm just I'm so fired up for the playoffs, and I'm dying to know who we play in the first round. That's assuming we get to the playoffs. I'm somewhat optimistic now about the 6th seed. I don't know about you guys.
Well, they're in the 6th seed right now, which is crazy. After last night, guys. Obviously, because the 3-way tiebreaker, Minnesota moves up there, for people wondering how that's even possible. But Minnesota can win tonight. They kind of control their own destiny. Then it was the Grizzlies, Andrew, that we talked about, is the team that we think is going to free fall after they fire, their coach. Ja Morant's had some shakiness this year, saying he wasn't fully healthy. They were still playing him. They didn't agree with the way they were running things on the offense. With the Grizzlies, they lost Brandon Clark for the year, who's a fantastic role player for them. And it's just one of those things that you look at the Grizzlies schedule, it's tough. And they face the Timberwolves. These other teams, they don't face us anymore, whether like that are around us. Clippers, guys, they don't play us again. The Warriors, they don't play us again. But we face the Memphis Grizzlies a week or next Saturday. That's going to be the big game. I think that the whole season, whether you're getting the 6th seed or not, guys, I think it's coming down to next Saturday's game against the Grizzlies.
Yeah, it's Ja Morant's tough. He's tough at the end of the game. I think that's what frustrated me and frustrates a lot of us, especially in the end of the Denver game. I thought we had 2 chances. We have to figure out, and I think Ant has to figure out how to either beat the double team, go immediately, or let Julius Randle, drive. I don't think they're going to double team him. But we've got to get better shots at the when we have the ball to win the game with 10 seconds left. We've got to improve. It's frustrating.
Yeah,
I
you saw it the
spoke
other
about
day.
it a little bit after our post-game show against Denver, of just I think we're going to see a much different offense in the postseason, like late game offense in the postseason versus the regular season. I just think right now it's all a learning curve for Ant. where I think Finch is just trying to get him reps in these moments. Finch loves Mike Conley. I mean, he had a quote earlier in the season that, what we do well in the clutch is Mike Conley. So we need Mike Conley in the clutch. And I think when push comes to shove and it's a playoff series, I mean, we've seen Finch bench D'Lo. We've seen Finch kind of do what he needs to do to get the job done. I think it's going to go back to inbound to Mike Conley. Mike Conley runs the pick and roll with Rudy. And then if Ant comes off a secondary screen or if Ant comes whirling around to the top, then it goes to him. But I don't think they're going to trust him in the postseason. That's just my read on it.
I don't know.
I could see him taking the last shot, but I just don't see them running the offense. There's been so many mistakes by him.
Well, he's got to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And I think they should show him tape of Michael Jordan's shot against Craig Elo. He's just got to go. He's got to go hard. He's got to go hard. Beat the double team. But we'll see. Obviously, we do well when we win by 8 or more.
Yeah.
But the Denver game was wild, and so happy for Naw hitting the free throws. He played so well. It was a fun game. You mentioned Rob Dillingham. I remain excited about him because he's so explosive and has so much offensive talent, works hard on D, doesn't get much run, but that was a fun 4 minutes. I love the steal and the slam. I don't know. What do you guys think of Dillingham? What are your hopes for him?
He's fun. He's my hopes is he's like a Jamal Crawford, and that guy off the bench, shifty, can score, kind of all over the court. He moves differently. He has handles that are incredible. You just don't see guys come in the NBA with that kind of handles as a rookie. I think like the way he moves, I always say is like a little bit like Allen Iverson too, Kyrie Irving, a tiny bit. Obviously, I'm not trying to compare them in their careers, but like you just don't see players come in with that. And I think he reminds me of a guy that if you were going to your local park where in your city to play basketball, you're going to see that kid out there once in a while. And it's like, he just beats everybody with pure skill. And you know what I mean? Like he's that guy that's just in the pickup gym and you're like, who is this kid? Like that's Rob Dillingham. He sticks out. I wish he was a little bit bigger. I think it hurts him tremendously. And me and Andrew and I have talked about it. And, in college, Rob can kind of keep up a little bit with these guys, but when he gets into the NBA, they're grown men, and it's tough for Rob. I think right now that's kind of where the learning curve is for Rob. It's just get in the gym this summer, get bigger, see what you had to do to get playing time. You see the team's deep, and it's there. I mean, they have a veteran point guard, that's getting older. It's there for the taking. It's just put in the work.
Yeah, I think we'll know a lot more at Summer League. I mean, they sent him down to the G League for a quick stint, and I mean, he was a turnover machine in the G League. I'm pretty high on him. I just like him as a person. Every interaction I've had with him, he's just a good kid. He stays late, works with Pablo after every practice. He has Pablo Prigioni, a 17-year vet playing around the world, and Mike Conley, a 17-year vet in the NBA. I mean, there's not. If he fails, it's not going to be because of like a lack of trying and a lack of support.
Right.
The organization's still really high on him. I think he'll get a shot. It's just when I'm looking at tape of him, he was so fast in college, but in the NBA, he's not as fast. Like everyone's lengthy, everyone's fast, everyone's strong. He's probably a lot closer to 5'10", 5'11" than 6'3". And he maybe weighs like 160 pounds. Like that's just, it's going to be a tough road for him. And I think if he goes into Summer League and he's worked on the turnover things where he kind of has the same problem as Ant, where they are so incredibly confident in their ability that where Ant thinks he's going to make every pull-up three, Rob thinks he can make any pass on the court. And in the NBA, it's just people are long. You have Jaden McDaniels that can tip anything.
Yeah.
And if I had to say, like, if he were to improve in the turnovers, I think Finch would be playing him a ton more because you can hide him pretty well on defense when you have Clark, Ant, Rudy. It's just he's got to get better at not making those mental mistakes.
Yeah. Turnovers drive me crazy. We've cut them down as a team. I contend that we don't have a lot of good passers on the team, just athletic guys. And, but when they focus, it seems like in some of the big games, we don't turn it over very much. Do you guys ever, in the next morning, rewatch over coffee the fourth quarter of a Wolves win?
Yep.
That's the
Oh yeah.
greatest.
Sometimes the night of, right? Sometimes I'm rewatching the replay at midnight when they show it, kind of
Yeah.
seeing what's going on with the game. Speaking of different players because we're going off of Rob Dillingham kind of right now, guys. Another guy who Finch found seems to not make mistakes, seems to come in prepared every day. Had a little bit of a rough game last game, but other than that, I thought he's just always prepared on the court. He's A1 in the locker room, according to Andrew. That's Jalen Clark. Craig, what do you think of Jalen Clark and kind of his play so far?
Love him. Love him. And I keep getting surprised with his offensive game. I've seen him dunk off one leg, off two leg on the baseline the other day. He doesn't really turn it over. He's kind of economical on offense, hits his threes so far, which is a surprise. And then defensively, he's special. It's not just the man-to-man defense, which is so tough. It's the steals, especially in the backcourt. He's got a gift with that. I mean, more so than anybody on the team. In the backcourt, he'll make steals. He anticipates this stuff. He just thinks differently. So, I'm glad we have him. Sometimes when we're struggling in the first quarter, I say, put him in, So it's pretty special. That's Tim Connolly doing his job, huh? Drafting him.
That's we had Adam Mares on earlier this year, and he was kind of like Jalen Clark's a Tim Connolly guy. He just believes in those guys that were borderline lottery picks that had something happen to them. And I mean, Clark's he's just an awesome guy. Like, he's super funny. I posted a bunch of stuff on my social. He did like a book giveaway, book drive at one of the local elementary schools up here, and he's just a good dude. And when you got someone that had to battle through an Achilles injury his entire rookie year, and then he's a good person on top of it, and then he's getting this chance and just capitalizing on it, it's special. And I kind of agree with you, Craig. There's a lot of times I'm sitting there going, why aren't we playing this guy 30 minutes a game? He just doesn't he doesn't make mistakes. He back cuts, which is
it's so easy to get hoops when you back cut.
I know.
It's great. It's how the old Sacramento Kings with Rick Adelman and Mike Bibby and Chris Webber and Vlade, they would do all these back cuts in the half court offense, and you get an easy layup. Yeah, I like our team. I'm optimistic. I mean, we can play with anybody in the West. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys have made any predictions on how far we go, but I can't wait to see it.
Well, I'd love to hear your prediction first.
Yeah,
where do you see them finishing? You're the grizzled veteran.
Well, I see that we don't have a lot of games left, and we all know we're capable of losing to anybody. But I'm going to say we'll finish sixth. I'm being optimistic, and I don't want to play. I was telling some people, I've said this a few times. We play well against OKC. If we finish sixth, obviously we won't open with them. I don't want to open with the Lakers. Not because I don't think we're better. I just think the league, I'm being cynical here, but the whistle will go to Luka and LeBron. Sadly, I hope it's not this way anymore. But David Stern was a businessman, and he said years ago, when the Kobe Shaq Lakers won 3 in a row, do you want the Lakers in the finals? He goes, I want the Lakers versus the Lakers. That's what I want. It's such good business. But I think, we play well against Denver. I hope we can keep it up if we meet them in the playoffs. Phoenix swept us last year in the regular season. Then we swept them in the playoffs. I hope Denver doesn't figure it out. And if we have to open with them. So I'm going to say we're going to get. I'm just going to say we're going to win at least one round. But I'm not good at predictions. I just stay optimistic because I do think when you have good defense like we do, and you have Rudy on the boards and protecting the rim, our offense starts clicking. When guys like Naw and Jaden McDaniels hit their shots, we're in a good place.
Yeah.
It's weird. I have Minnesota also as a second round team, kind of going into there. The sports betting, the books right now, DraftKings, all of them, they have the Timberwolves to make the playoffs right now, odds wise, and so that even Vegas thinks they're going to make the playoffs. I think to go farther than a second round team, it's going to be because Julius Randle is playing like Julius Randle's been playing these last few months here. He's been incredible. He's completely turned everything around for the Timberwolves. He's starting to be, have all-star stats, and I think he's a player notorious for people listening that maybe not followed Julius Randle earlier in his career with New York. He struggles in the playoffs big time.
Yeah.
He goes up. And that's where I'm worried is for the Timberwolves guys is if Randall kind of falls back into that, it would just kill Minnesota more than even Jaden or more than these other guys. But if he plays good, Craig, I think they could. I think it's like a insane razor because we know Craig, we know Anthony Edwards in the playoffs. He brings it to another level. We've seen it. It's been proven. We know Dante DiVincenzo brings it to another level. We saw it with New York last year, and he was awesome, right? So if Julius Randle can bring up his level, because right now he's probably the second best player on the Timberwolves, I think it's a game changer in Minnesota. That's the difference between them being a second round team and another Western Conference Finals team. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I read that article when the trade was made with Cat. Someone posted an article saying he struggles. Julius Randle struggles in the playoffs, and then he struggled to adapt. And I used to like his game when I saw him with the Lakers when he started out. And now I like his game again. I was very frustrated. It wasn't working because I love that he penetrates. I love that in the half court offense, when you have a point guard who can break down the defense and kick out, it's demoralizing to the defense. Well, that's what he does as a forward. He just drives, kicks out, or maybe scores a layup. But when he would get stripped from the blind side, it drove me up the wall. Now he's playing well. And when you bring up, is he going to struggle in the playoffs? Then I just put pressure on Nas. I say, Nas, you better pick it up. But I'm with you. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he continues to play well in the playoffs. And you're 100% right about Ant in the playoffs. Last year, I was fearful of the Suns, and I said before the series, I said, ultimately, your best player, Ant, has to rise to the occasion. And man, did he ever. And I think he's going to do it again. I think he's going to do it again in the playoffs. So that's why I'm fired up.
Fired up too. Andrew, why, where do you kind of have them going, and what's kind of your optimism of them as well?
Well, I share Craig's concern with LA. Like, if you've watched the NBA long enough,
Same.
Austin Reeves is a top 10 foul drawer this year.
That's right. I've heard people say that. You're right. Yeah.
It just is there is a Lakers to it all where you have Luka, LeBron. I mean, you just don't know. And I think the other side of it is, they have two basketball savants on their court right now with Luka and LeBron that are going to play 48 minutes. You're going to have to play 48 minutes with a Hall of Fame level IQ offensive player. And they've actually, since the trade, they've been pairing LeBron with Austin Reeves and Rui a lot, where LeBron can do a little more off-ball stuff or just run pick and rolls and kind of get off the ball, which, the last time LeBron was fully healthy in the playoffs, he won it in the bubble. So I'm afraid of that team almost more than Golden State, or not Golden State, more than Oklahoma City. To me, Oklahoma City has a ton of depth and firepower, and Shea is incredible, but the Wolves just wake up for those games and guards incredibly well when there's a MVP caliber guard across from him. They have the wings to just keep throwing people at Shea. When you have a Luka, he kind of proved last year, Nikhil's a little too small. Jaden's gonna foul him. I mean, he's just so good at drawing fouls. I'm terrified of the Lakers. If they don't match up against the Lakers, I think they win. I think they win a round. They kind of have Denver's number. Golden State doesn't really scare me. I just think they have so many.
They scare me a little bit.
They just have so many people to throw at Curry, and I just don't know if Jimmy Butler is going to have the playoff Jimmy Butler. And after those two, it goes down to Moses Moody, which I'd love to hear your thoughts though, Craig. Why does Golden State scare you?
Because I don't like Jimmy Butler, and he's really good.
Okay.
And Draymond, Draymond does things to disrupt series and gets under the skin of these guys. And Steph can shoot the lights out. I mean, we lost to Golden State this year in the series, and they were close. I remember them being close games, and then Steph just took over last few minutes. But I don't think we'll play them. I don't think we'll play them in the first round. I think it's either going to be Houston, Denver, or the Lakers, I think.
And Houston, I mean, I hear a lot of like the national guys talk about like their youth and stuff being a factor. I mean, Fred VanVleet's won a championship. Dylan Brooks has been there. Steven Adams has been there. Really, the only guys that haven't are the Thompson and
Jalen Green,
Şengün. I mean, Jalen Green, I guess, but he's not. I mean, he's their scorer, but he's not really like the engine of the team. I think they're gonna. That's gonna be like a brutal series if the Wolves get Houston, but. Denver, I think they just, for whatever reason, they have their number. They just, Denver has no one to stop Ant. And if Naz is playing, they have options for Jokic where hopefully he doesn't score 60. So I think moral of the story, I think they'll win a round. I'm pretty confident. Yeah. After that, it's kind of a who knows, because then you're forced to play either Oklahoma City, LA, Golden State, like you said, Craig.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's hard to make the Western Conference Finals. There's a reason only 4 teams do it.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, gentlemen. It's been awesome having you on, Craig. We loved having you on, Andrew. Having you on as always, man. Obviously, tonight they face the Brooklyn Nets. This is a game. It's a trap game. It's another game. We've seen it a million times this year, boys, where they come in, they lose tonight's game, and we're back to where we are, and all the optimism goes down the road for a second. But yeah, I guess in tonight's game, looking into it real quick, how do we get the job done tonight, Craig? And then we'll kind of wrap it up, man.
Good start. Get off to a good start. That's what the coach is going to tell them. And I think we win. We win by 12 or more. Even if it's close going into the fourth, we're going to turn it on. But let's just get off to a good start. Let's not get sloppy with the turnovers. 12 is the number. 12 and under. That's what I accept for turnovers.
Your new sports book is started up. You can get it.
Sneaky Brooklyn Nets. They have won 2 in a row, so they are not going to want to win a 3rd in a row. I mean, they have their own pick this year. They traded to get their pick back. They are not going to want to win a 3rd game in a row at this point. I think it also helps that they're on the road. I mean, Finch has talked about it a lot. Of this team plays better on the road because they don't have their Xboxes. They can't stay up too late. Everything on the road is so structured for them at this point in the season that it's easier to make people wake up for games because you're not worried if they're going to be up too late. You're not worried if they're going to be, kids sick and wakes them up at home. Jaden's talked about that quite a bit. I think it helps that they're playing a tanking team on the road. I think they're going to, like Craig said, it's going to be a pretty sizable win.
I agree with you guys. If it was a home game, it scares me a lot more. But again, they just on the road, they come out when they're structured. They're not dealing with the outside noise. Families aren't around. New dads all there. Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, like you talked about. Rudy Gobert is still a pretty new parent. So those all came in. I guess we'll just see what the Wolves do. It's going to be a fun bloodbath till the end. Sometimes I wish we could just be like last year's team where we already know where we're seated. But sometimes it's also fun to have a thriller finish. It's been great having you on, Craig. Come on anytime. We'll have to catch up sometime. And as always, guys, go Wolves.
Thank you. Great to be here.